Hey everyone. Alright, I'm working on a 97 TL1000s motor. My bike I put on hold for 2 or 3 years on building. Yeah. Frames over there, powder coated, sitting waiting. I've been on the motor and I put it on hold for a while. So I'm making this video because one of the confusing things was how to find top dead center and set the cams. Because the book is confusing. You know, here, I'll show you the book. Hold on. Which book? What book? I don't know the name and I don't care. I found it on the internet, downloaded it, printed it. And it's been accurate until now. It's been kind of confusing. I already got through all this stuff. So it says, I already got through this. I mean, you can't call me out that I did not tear the motor out into a million pieces, because how else would it have gotten coated and painted? You know, I could only do this by ripping the motor apart. So, I mean, definitely pay attention to this, how to install the cams, and the proper way to install the cams. So if you don't have the book, just take a look. That was confusing me at first too. So this is the back of the motor. This is the front of the motor. This is the front of the motor. This is the back of the motor. So the front has shorter cams for intake and exhaust. The rear has longer cams for intake and exhaust. Okay, front, rear. To show you what that looks like. This is the front exhaust, and that is what it looks like. It's a little bit short and fat and stocky. This is the second cam, which is the front intake cam. It's a little bit short, and you can see that. The exhaust cams are longer. This is the back of the motorcycle. See, back of the motorcycle. And they are longer. Okay? Now the book was confusing because it said to set the motor to top dead center for the front, which is FT inside here. FT inside here. Okay, see that? That's FT for top dead center in here. And then go ahead and install these and line them up. Right here, I and E, and line them up. And then bolt these down, bolt down the journal holders, and this should be the result right here. Front of motorcycle, back of motorcycle. FT, front cylinder head. I flat, E up. I up, E this way, flat. So let me rotate mine. So I was rotating my home-built motor holder. This poor engine's been sitting on this for a while. So you can see that I did that. You rotate that to FT. You set this cam to E in the sky, I to the back, and I to the sky, E to the front. And I kind of sort of lined them up, right? See that? Kind of sort of line them up, and that's how it looks. So this diagram matches that. E, I, line, I, E, line, FT, FT I showed you. The part where I got confused was after this, I needed to do the rear. Oh wait, before I show you that. So this is 100% correct. And to show you that this is 100% correct, E is in the sky, I is to the back, eyes to the sky, E's to the front, just like this. But the other side, sorry, I'm just rotating the motor. The other side of the cams is about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and about 10 o'clock, right? So 12, 1, 2, 3. So that's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Oh, shit, call it 2 o'clock. And then this is like 10 o'clock. So yeah, if flat is 3, we'll call this, I don't know, like 2, 2:30. Okay, so now this, I was confused because the book said, right here, rotate the generator motor, whatever, 360 degrees and align it back to FT. Okay? So when I did that, I rotated it, aligned it back to FT, I could not get these on. It was hard. I couldn't get it on to the point where I broke one of the camshafts, I broke one of the journals, I had to order a spare head from eBay and swap parts over. Yeah, I did. Broken parts are, see? Broken parts there. And the other parts here has a hairline crack in it somewhere. So I swapped the parts. And now I'm thinking, okay, why did that happen? Why was this such a pain in the ass? Because after you get this back at FT, the second page says rotate 360 and install it. Right? Say rotate 360, install everything. So this is the rear of the motorcycle, the front of the motorcycle, and front wheel of the motorcycle is here. So this is the rear of the motorcycle, the front wheel is here. And it says you should have it says when installing it and you rotated the crank, you install it like this. Okay? E down, circle down, I this way. E this way, I this way, flat line at FT. That's what confused me, that this book was wrong. Because then when I did that, the cams were upside down. They were upside down. Yeah, and I couldn't install them. And you're thinking, what? Yeah, it was confusing as hell. So I just couldn't install them, and it led to the damage, and it led to the crack. And this is the final. So I said to myself, this book has got to be messed up. So front of motorcycle, rear of motorcycle. Right? So normally, when front of motorcycle, rear of motorcycle, just like this diagram, an FT, it would state FT, front of motorcycle, E, I, circle up, I, E, circle up. So that is this. FT, E, I, lines, E, I, lines, circle up. And the circle up is, where is it? Right there, circle up. See, circle up. Now, the rear of the motorcycle, the rear, should be the intake cam, I, this way. Exhaust cam, E, this way. This is the rear of the motorcycle, I, this way. I, this way. E, this way. E, this way. See, and it lines up. That's how it's done, and that's how this matches. So now you're thinking, okay, because I was thinking, why did I break it? How could I not get this on when I rotated 360? Because when I rotated 360, the cams are pointing down and pushing the valves and valve springs down. And then I had tried to bolt this in with it down and I couldn't do it. So that's right. The instructions on this book is fucked up. So what I did was I set this to FT. I set the front properly to the book. Rewind the video and go look at that if you want. Then I came back and I set the exhaust cam on the second rear part of the motor properly because it's up. Then I rotated the motor 180 degrees. And then I installed this. Yes. Watch. When I rotated the motor 180 degrees, right? It made the intake facing up, upside down. Watch. I'm going to rotate it. I don't know if I can do this while holding my phone. I might have to hold the motor. Maybe I can hold the motor like this. Rotate. See, I'm rotating it, and the cams are releasing. Ah, shit. Almost there, almost there. See that? Almost there. Almost there. Okay, so I installed the front intake exhaust. I installed the rear exhaust. Then I rotated 180 degrees like I just did, showed you. And now it's facing up. And crazy easy. I placed the cam in, gently cross-bolted it down, then torqued it down. Now after I bolted it down, right, you could see upside down cam, and then rotated the motor back to FT. Yep, I then rotated it back to FT, and everything was good. So let me show you that. So now, let's rotate again. I'm gonna pause and make this quick. All right, I just rotated the motor back again to FT, and now the cam is facing down, and ta-da! Everything is lined up. Everything is lined up. I, E in the sky, E, I in the sky. These cams are, what is this? This is like 9 o'clock. This is facing like 9 o'clock. Yeah. This is facing down, completely down, like 6 o'clock. And everything is good. So that's the trick. This fucking book says, see, and now my motor is like this. Fucking book says, Where is it? Yeah, fucking book says rotate 360. Don't rotate 360 and try to install it. Rotate it until the exhaust cam is upside down and then install it. So that's like 2 or 3 turns. I don't know how many turns. Maybe that was like 70% turns on the crank. Install it and then triple check all your work before you put this back in, but that's what worked for me. Alright, well, that's it for this video. Maybe I'll try to do some more videos. I don't know, we'll see. It's been a while. What I need to do now is then put this on and get this motor in that frame to a real motorcycle. Move that CBR over, and I'll have 2 bikes again.